9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.
Say his name and he appears. I believe it said.
Oh, happy Friday. It is June 19th, the year of our Lord. If you hear the sound of my sultry voice, that means you are locked in with the mayor. And it's a federal holiday. It is Juneteenth, and we are here because our boss lady does not believe in freedom. No, I'm just joking. But the mayor is here to give you guys a show, give you guys some surprises, and just talk this week in wrestling. It's been a very monumental week in wrestling. We want to make sure that we got you guys some news today. Of course, the mayor is always going to be a tad bit late. I'm sorry we're a little bit after the hour, but we still going to finish on time because it's Blackty Black Day. And thankfully, I am not alone. I am heralded by the queen of the streets, the queen of Pound Town, and many other names that I can't say legally on this program, TK Trinidad.
Wow, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I am doing.
When the mayor hosts, we go off the rail a little bit, you know. We go off the rails a lot of bit, you know.
Gotcha,
it's been a while. It's been a while. But the people who
exist,
people that know how I get down, they know. They know what this show is going to be about.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. What are we doing?
But happy Juneteenth, TK.
Happy Juneteenth to you. Am I allowed to say happy Juneteenth? I wasn't sure. I was consulting some other friends about that.
Okay. Let's unpack that. Why would you not be allowed?
Well, like I can say Juneteenth to other people, but can people say happy Juneteenth to me? Like, can you say happy Juneteenth to me?
Juneteenth is a celebration of freedom and acknowledging that people were freed. It's it's acknowledgement of freedom. Why not?
I just thought it was more of an American thing because nobody says like, happy, Canada Day to me or happy, Independence Day for Bam or Trinidad. So I just thought it was, like I don't obviously, for Americans, but you've given me the okay, so I appreciate it. Happy Juneteenth to you as well, and thank you for.
We acknowledge and celebrate freedom here. That's what WWT is all about. Except for
also, happy belated birthday to you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate the post and the acknowledgement from everybody in the live chat telling me happy birthday. I'm still waiting on my my stuff from Pound Town, my floats amongst many other things, my Mayor of Pound Town sash. But I'm sure Ariane has put those things in the mail, and I'll just wait for the postage. I'll wait for the postage.
There it is.
But we can sit here and belabor about all these things, but we got news to give y'all. That's why we here. So thank you for the lovely picture. Thank you. And thank you for everybody in the chat telling me happy birthday. But we got to talk about wrestling. Today, actually, this has been a big week in wrestling overall. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have seen the people departing Total Nonstop, departing TNA left and right. Some of them releases, some of them mutual. And it's been a very interesting week. We'll start with Sami Callihan, pretty much talking about how he got his call for being fired from TNA, in which he describes this moment like thinking he was going to get upgraded to creative. And a lot of the other fellow locker room stars thought that he would get upgraded into creative, something he's been helping out with behind the scenes. And it was nothing of that sorts. He details the meeting, the people that were in the meeting, and the roles he filled backstage, and was ultimately fired from the company. This is a big domino, I'd say, in a slew of other ones. Like I think we also saw Tommy Dreamer part ways. We know Tessa Blanchard decided to leave TNA, amongst a lot of names in the past month, all leaving the company. Before we get into like how they did this with Sami Callihan, what kind of shift do we think TNA is in right now? Like what is going on overall? If you're looking at it from a top-down view, it doesn't look good. It looks like a purge.
Well, yes and no. There's two things that are happening right now. You have people who are walking away. So the difference is, Tommy Dreamer walked away. Tessa Blanchard, and we'll get into her. She walked away. There's a little interesting thing too with Tessa that she said in her video. With Sami Callihan, though, he's been with the company for such a long time, so that's one thing. But he actually thought that he was getting promoted. So it means that, to me, says that there's something new shifting in the company, that Sami's thought that, okay, there's movement happening in the company. Therefore, they're calling me into the office. Therefore, I'm going to benefit from this. And that's not what happened, which, to be blindsided like that, to literally, because there's a couple different things. You can walk into an office and you already know what's coming, right? But to think that you are getting a promotion and not get the promotion, but not even stay with the company, they're like, we don't need you anymore. That's a whole different thing. So there's a lot of shifts that are happening within the company. I suspect that it has to do with Endeavor and TKO. And it's always, to me, whenever it's business, it's always about the money. Whether they're not making enough money, whether they're trying to make more money, whether they owe money to somebody, it always has to do with something money-wise. So we'll hear we'll see what's going to happen with that. Also, the fact that Tommy Dreamer left on his own accord from such a high up position after being with the company for so long as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that sound. I'm not sure what that sound is. Now it stopped.
I don't know if you moved the phone or something. Anyways, go on. So that's my, so as far as what I'm thinking, there's definitely something that's happening in the company, because it's different from WWE when we see, like mass firings, but they're firing people, right? It's typical for WWE. But when you have people walking away from a company, there's something else that's going on as well.
Yeah, and Sami alluded to this in the comments that it could be a money thing. He said he felt he wasn't really breaking the bank salary and payroll wise. So it speaks to me. This looks like a purge. I think we're seeing a little bit of the same thing we saw in WWE, where people are being asked like, "Hey, we want you to take a pay cut." Some people are like, "No," or whatever like that, and they decide to leave. But we're definitely seeing people be approached with, let's call it like corporate speak. And I don't know what that means. I think I did see something where Matt Hardy was asked earlier this week as well, if they felt that WWE ended up buying TNA. He said, honestly, it might be a few years away, but that might be where they're going. But it's very odd. It's very odd, the timing of everything. And when you see people mutually part ways or decide to leave a company, and this is not a company that has like a bloated roster at all. It just speaks volumes to like what could be coming down the line.
Right. Also, at the same time, simultaneously, people re-signing. So you have Tasha Steelz, you have Ali re-signing. So you have people re-signing. I think we're going to talk about that as well. Other people re-signing while people are walking away, while people are getting fired. All three things happening at the same time is like, I don't know another company that's done that. Not in wrestling. So that means something's happening in the background. Some shuffling's happening. But yeah, obviously, like you said, some reshuffling. How that's gonna fall, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting to see. And then also, who's gonna replace Tommy Dreamer? I mean, the whole question was who's gonna replace Gail Kim. Tommy Dreamer came out. Both two people who have been in the company and been in the wrestling space for a long period of time. But again, who's going to replace Tommy, and is it going to be better than what we've been getting?
That's not nice, Maria. I think he's wanted, but of course he couldn't be with the rest of his rascal brother and whatever you feel about what came out there. But it is being speculated that Road Dogg's a name that was announced, who's very vocal about losing his creative job in WWE. I don't know if people really want that, but we will see. What do you make of TNA trying to get ahead of the press with their statement regarding all these departures?
Statement.
And I'll read a clip, a brief paragraph of it. It says, TNA Wrestling today announced a workforce reduction designed to streamline operations and sharpen strategic focus and profitability. TNA's creative leadership team will see an immediate shift Tommy Dreamer, who has worked in TNA's creative and talent relations department, is leaving the company as TNA and Dreamer mutually agreed to part ways. TNA has also come to terms on the release of Tessa Blanchard. We wish Tessa and Tommy and others the best in their future endeavors. So they named those people, but everybody else just kind of got like a blanket lumped in. We wish you the best. But obviously they're trying to get ahead of the bad press and what this looks like. So what does it all mean?
I don't know. Like that statement was, I kind of wish, and Courtney definitely does deserve a break. So I'm not saying that I kind of wish she's there, but I kind of wish she is here as far as PR, because that statement, see, there's something kind of off about that statement. Just like what you said, they named Tommy, they named Tessa, but they didn't name anybody else. I don't know at the time that they put out the statement that Sami knew that he was let go. I'm sure they knew that they were letting him go. And I'm sure this is not the end of it. We might see a couple more changes in the next couple weeks or days. So for them to put that statement out, and even for Tessa to come and put a whole video out on YouTube explaining why she chose CMLL versus TNA. Like I've been saying, there's something afoot. There's something on the fishy side. Hey, all right, okay. What song do you want to play? What song do you want us to play for our?
Something blackety black.
You're asking for something that will get a ding on YouTube. So this is what you're saying. You want to give back the money to YouTube that we just got.
Can't instrumentals work? I'll take recommendations in the chat, but it got to be blackety black. Y'all, I'll give you guys 30 seconds.
I have something from Booney. That should be fine. Let's see what this one is.
This ain't black enough.
I mean, Booney's black though. Shout out to Booney, our former host.
We need.
This is more for like Pound Town.
So when the mayor is hosting, he needs something for the twerkers. The things that TK does in Pound Town that you guys didn't see last week. So we need something.
Wow. I don't even know who half of these songs. I don't know, you put it in there. Anyways, we'll figure out a super chat song. But thank you, producer from our future, for that lovely donation for our super chats. Our super chats are open, so for $2 or more, you can ask what Ced did for his birthday, why he was late, all the things, because guaranteed he was late because he did, copious amount of things on his birthday, and what he did in Pound Town after I left. So, wow. Okay, that's enough before we get going. I need to give all the money back. Thanks.
It's okay. The mayor's loaded, guys, so he can replenish that in the YouTube distraction.
You guys heard it. Check that out, Dylan.
The mayor's doing just fine. But let's talk about that. Let's elaborate a little bit on that Tessa statement, because it was a very passionate statement. She said she thought about it long and hard. She went to her dad, who she trusts, and she said she just felt like her heart was more in Mexico, more aligned with the trajectory of her career and what they have for her. And she didn't want to give that up. But again, this was something that was presented to her as like, hey, we need you to choose between these two brands. We can't have you doing double duty, where we're in a space now where if you look at the partnerships in AEW, they might be dwindling a little bit between the Forbidden Door stuff, but like a lot of people are able to put their hands in many pots as far as promotions. And she's being told like, hey, pick a side. What's going on there when she's obviously a veteran talent, can help with a lot of the women on the roster that are younger talents as well. But she had to pretty much pick a side and say, hey, I'm going to stay with CMLL because that's where my heart is. That's where I feel like my character is going to get more work. I have a lot more I can do and finish in that company.
Yeah. Well, you have to remember that CMLL is partnered with AEW.
Exactly.
Right? TNA is partnered with WWE, a loose partnership. But according to her video, she said that, something that was really telling, given the fact that Sami was let go, and other people are resigning, other people are walking, is that the fact that she said that they offered her more money. They wanted her to stay. So that was something that was kind of, I don't want to say telling, but interesting, that piece of information that she offered. I honestly think that, like Maria was saying, some people are not. Maria said we wanted her gone anyway. I don't think everybody wanted her gone, but I think there's a swath of people that are just not messing with her, period. Right. And I don't think that's the case for CMLL. I feel like with CMLL, she's getting love all around, no matter what character she plays. And I think she was there before TNA came back, or before she came back into TNA's live. So it's kind of like, I think, looking at longevity. And if you want to do wrestling, for a longer period of time, I think CMLL is the place for her. Whereas TNA, I don't know. Although she was doing well, I don't know if over a long period of time, especially what's going to happen now, given all these people walking away, all these people resigning, all these people getting let go. Who knows if they re-signed her, she's going to be there for another year. So now she's at TNA for another year. She gave up CMLL, and then she gets let go by TNA. Like, I don't think I think her partnership with CMLL are more tighter, that she can be there for the next 5 to 8 to 10 years and be Gucci. Whereas TNA, they probably can't guarantee that, because they have a lot of people that they're answering to.
Security.
Yeah.
Job security and trajectory. Like, they have plans to utilize her, is what I gathered. And it makes sense. You know what? This is kind of lateral, but it made me think about, because I'm sure she was in TNA. She's done a couple stints there, because the goal is to kind of merge that with WWE and get to WWE. I think I just looked at a clip from Uncle Dave there, talking about the plan was WWE all along, but WWE wasn't going to sign her. It made me think of Danhausen's clip on, I want to say, Stephen A's show in lieu of the Knicks parade this week, where he was like, pretty much saying, like, why did he choose WWE? And he said, like, a lot of wrestlers' goals is WWE, because it's the biggest brand in the world. And he talked about how he's hit the ground running hard, being booked on WrestleMania, things like that. Do you think that, of course, like, how do I want to phrase this? Time is undefeated. Time is completely undefeated. People are not getting younger. We're all getting older. Do you think that WWE should still be the ultimate goal for a lot of these superstars? It should just be to make the most of the opportunities you have in whatever space you're in.
From the interviews that I've been doing, WWE is not the ultimate goal for everybody anymore. I've seen like a difference from when I started in 2017 interviewing folks to now. Everybody's not saying WWE is the goal, because one thing, is the scheduling. The second thing is you have a lot of people, WWE picked a lot of people up, or are picking a lot of people up from college, for instance, and they're not in love with wrestling. So now you have somebody who's been through a wrestling school and doing all the things, and now WWE's, overstepping them to go somewhere else. So, almost like, trying to be at a table that doesn't want you, when you can go to all these other tables, all these other promotions. There's plenty of people that are making a living on the indie scene. I think a huge part is because of social media, because you can, for instance, if I were to, and this happened quite a few times, I interviewed one girl in Canada, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing all these other Canadian female wrestlers popping up on my social media. So it's kind of one of those things. Where I don't know if that's everybody's goal anymore. I think it's, people would like to work there. It's presented with the opportunity, but it's not like, I have to do this. This is the life goal. I don't think that's everybody's thing, because on top of that, you get there and you might not be the star that you think you want to be, because we can see it right now in the current WWE roster. There's only few people that are going to be the top star. They might have talent, but they're never going to be granted those opportunities. And we can see all of that.
Yeah. It's a different era and a different time. And I would love to pick Tessa's brain to see if that's something that she desired, or if this stage of her career, like how she said, I'm 100% CMLL, like how she views like the next 5 years, and if CML is going to allow her those alternative bookings. Just a heads up, whoever is in California, she will be on July 7th OW card there at Thunderdome Studio. She is the women's champion in OW. So make sure you guys go check that out.
I don't know if, I think WWE was high on her when she did the Mae Young, and then obviously, all the things happened. I think I think because of I don't know, it's kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky because I don't know. And for my folks who do watch CMLL, please let me know. I don't know if the fans are as fickle as the fans in America. So I don't. WWE might. I don't know. That would be a good question to ask her. I don't know if WWE is the goal for her anymore. Because it's like almost like go where you love. Go where you are loved. And I think that's definitely CMLL.
Before we get to the next story, TK, there was a question in the chat that I want you to answer.
Yes.
I'd like you to answer this question. I know we're not supposed to be putting stuff on the show. Do you want me to just put it on the screen real quick? Well, the mayor's hosting. The mayor does what he wants. Let's
sure. What is that? Oh, I saw that. So okay,
so
Lynette,
TK can answer this question, because
I can definitely answer the question. So shout out to Tantalizing Tony. He's had some personal things. He should be hopping back on the Raw watch along. The mayor is too busy to do a watch along, and it's not to say yes or no. He's just busy. He's a busy guy. There's a lot of people who want the mayor in the streets, so he's in the streets. I then said, hey, you can do a Raw post show because people want to hear the mayor. He said that he was going to do it, and we haven't done that. Then I said, hey, there's another show that we can do called Mayor's Corner, where the mayor takes, several different things, and we talk about it on a Saturday or a Sunday. That has been in the works for a couple weeks. And I asked the mayor about it again Saturday when I saw him, and he said, he's been doing some personal things. So Lynette, I too want the mayor to come back and do his own show. The mayor has to make time to do his own show. I pretty much had to, on this fine Freedom Day, say, hey, mayor, I know you are finally finally not busy for people to come and see you. I'm sure they want to say happy birthday to you. Do you mind coming on the show? Because I wasn't planning on doing the show. Shout out to Courtney. Courtney's like, hey, Juneteenth is on Friday. We shouldn't do a show. I was like, I agree. Let me think about it. But because I know the people were asking for the mayor, I said, hey, let's do a show. And I took time off of my semi-holiday to do the show so people can see you. So there is the answer, Lynette. So as to the answer for that is entirely up to the mayor. There's stuff created for him so he can do his shows, but he's been too busy.
Created for the mayor. Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay. That was a very thorough and long-winded answer by the boss lady TK. I'm gonna let her have that today. Because the mayor is in good spirits. It's Freedom Day. But I will say, similar to all the wrestlers of past who were robbed of their last names, the Biggie Langstons, what was it? The Antonio Rusev or Antonio Cesaro, the mayor was robbed of his Monday nights. It was taken from me.
It was taken.
It was just like Biggie Langston. My last name was taken from me. And
wow.
TK actually tried to give me away last week, guys. She tried to pawn me off to another creator. She said, we don't need the mayor in these streets anymore. Would you like a host? And we won't say who that creator was, but I don't think she was too enthused about taking the mayor's services. So the mayor is planning some things out. The mayor might actually come here on a Monday Night Raw or on a Tuesday night with the councilman's blessing. I might do a Tuesday night because we love Lola Vice out here. And the mayor's corner is on the way. Okay. The mayor's corner is on the way. I don't know if we're gonna call it the mayor's corner. I like the TMC acronym, but I all respect to Nipsey Hussle. I don't want to step on any toes there.
Okay.
Well, let's talk. A story that I'm actually passionate about on this list we have today, because my interest theme is of this man, Joe Hendry. And where the hell has Joe Hendry been? He has not been featured on program, and I'm pretty sure you can imagine why. He was actually asked this question recently, and he obviously played up the injury angle where he was attacked by Austin Theory. That was the way he was written off. However, it really does not coincide with the Joe Hendry we saw for the past year and everything else that we saw build up his character. He was pigeonholed into this vision thing on top of with the Street Profits and everything's going on there. And it seemed like creative only had him here for a song. And he was completely attached to Logan Paul. We know Logan Paul's triceps now torn, very legitimate injury. He just came back this past Monday night, but he can't be in in-ring action. So like it puts Joe Hendry on ice. So my question is this. One, is it Joe over? Is it Joe over? Is all the hype for Joe Hendry Joe over? And how do they restore that lightning in a bottle that we saw that got him to guest appear at WrestleMania last year versus Randy Orton? It feels like that's so gone. I feel like NXT was a good space to still give you those like campy, fun moments, but main roster has no idea how to utilize Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of almost feel the same way too. I think he would have really done well in NXT and kind of rebuild. I mean, we saw the crossover between the two, between NXT and TNA when that was a thing, but really kind of solidifying Joe Hendry in NXT might have been the better play than bringing him onto the main roster. The main roster, I don't know if it was Jeffrey or Eric or somebody who said that, or both. The main roster has way more fickle people in it than anywhere else. Like if you look at TNA and all the campy stuff they did in TNA, Joe Hendry came from TNA. If you look at NXT or Evolve or WoW or any of the other, like they kind of allow for more of that campiness. Whereas SmackDown and Raw, it's like we'll give you an inch, but we out here for reality. We want to see people get beat up. So I don't know if it's like kind of putting him in NXT and then kind of transitioning him, coming up with a new idea, and then transitioning him to the main roster. But I don't know if we wanted to see it, but that was only a little bit when he was with TNA. So I don't know what the answer is. I think NXT would have been a better play for him to stay down in NXT for a good while and become NXT famous in air quotes than main roster.
I agree with that because I feel like even in the NXT space, and I get we're in a completely different transition for the men's division. They've added so many new names. I feel like that main title is still lacking the star power, but I do understand the reshuffling of the deck so it can be Tony D's men's division. I get that. You got to like sink or swim at this point. But it really is a disservice to Joe Hendry. And I'll take it a step further. I feel like Joe Hendry would have been more well received on SmackDown than Raw. I feel like Raw is a bit too top heavy. Even its mid-card division went the IC belt with Penta and everybody else a little top heavy where he wouldn't fit. So I feel like you could have done the segments and you could have ran the same playbook you did for Danhausen for a while where he is always on the show, popping out of nowhere, have him interact with Chelsea Green a little bit. I think that would have been the play. And hopefully they realize this sooner than later and we don't just waste this talent that they wanted to rush to main roster.
Well, here's another question, marketing wise and also mainstream media wise. If you were going to explain Joe Hendry, to somebody that doesn't know who Joe Hendry is, how would you explain him to that person in one sentence?
See, for me, a 90s reference just popped in my head, but I don't think it really applies. You remember, what was the name of this TV show? You remember Home Improvement? Is that what it's called?
Yes.
With Tim Allen? You remember his neighbor?
Yes.
The one that's always like half of it for the fence. I don't know why I think of that when I think of Joe Hendry. It's like the guy that's just like always there, always got something to say. There's probably a way better example, but he feels very much like a 90s character to me in the 2020s of this world.
So now if you're going to make that reference, even if you were going to make that Home Improvement reference, that guy, that neighbor, does that neighbor make money? Like if you put it in the Home Improvement space, were people watching Home Improvement to see that neighbor, or could you make, separate TV shows off that? Because, there's spinoffs, like some people character wise, the secondary character gets a whole nother show. Could that neighbor have gotten another show? Because I don't think so, but I didn't watch Home Improvement.
No, I don't know. And that's the thing. And that's why I have a problem with pigeonholing Hendry into like a song. And like that's the only way we see him is to say, hey, we want to fire Logan Paul. It works for a little bit, but what made him popular is say his name and he appears. You could have just ran that playbook where it's like, oh no, we can't say his name. Look at what they're doing with Leo Rush. And Leo is now, I believe, the Ring of Honor television champion. Like, look how silly it is when you have the whole roster take play, like where Orange Cassidy and the rest of the conglomerate are like, if you be still, he can't see you.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we just do segments like that? Where it's like you're backstage and it's like, oh, like somebody just accidentally says Joe. Maybe you're talking about Joe Anna Y, which is Roman Reigns, but he appears. Right. How fun could that have been for months without him wrestling a single match?
Yeah, no, that could have been something, because now you're introducing it to the mainstream audience, because with particularly Raw, because it's on Netflix all over the world, whereas you can find SmackDown in different places as far as the US. In particular with Raw, I feel like I go back to the same thing. The audience is, you have the hardcore audience who no matter what you do, they're going to show up. Then you have another audience where it's like, this is terrible. And you won't see them for 6 weeks, or you won't see them for a month, or you won't see them for half a year or a year or whatever. Or you'll just see them on pay-per-views, and then you try to hook them back in with the pay-per-views. So like that would have been a good idea, because now you're interested to see, now it becomes like a comical bit, but it's just a bit. So then how do you transfer that bit into something bigger and to essentially main character energy? How do you do that? And to me, it's like, yes, where he was from TNA to WWE was great, but then it's like, what next? There should have been like, we can play this bit, but then it's going to transfer into something else, whether it's, him going heel or something else, like something where now it transcends to something else. And I don't know if the writers have that or had that. That's the reason he's injured.
Yeah, and it just sucks. Hopefully they figure it out. One thing that will not be figured out is a trip to the White House lawn. And thank God that we're nipping that in the bud already, because people naturally saw the UFC programming at the White House lawn last week and thought, hey, how cool would it be to have a wrestling event in front of the White House? No, we're not.
You don't think it's going to happen?
I do not think it's going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it should happen. And I don't think the WWE as a whole should continue to lean that direction, because it's already alienating some fans in outwardly. But if you lean that much into it, the way the UFC does, you're going to cast the wrong stone. So I'm glad they shot it down already, saying that there's no plans imminent of doing that type of event. Think about it. We have a whole ass WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia next year. Whole ass. Mm-hmm. Think about WrestleMania and WrestleMania week. Everything that you love, that you
just
love
said
in
it,
Vegas. Though. No, I'm saying, but think about how you go to all these events, WrestleMania week, and I'm talking about just WWE themed events, WWE World, the NXTs, right. All those things are going to be in Saudi Arabia, and how much of the fan base that cuts off. Imagine a White House event that only has about 3,000 tickets just for the elites on television, seeing what we see. But now the UFC, what? I just said what?
You just proved your own point. And I'm saying, like, look at this. It's not the fact that WWE is going to Saudi Arabia. It's not the fact that WWE is going outside of America. It's the fact that WWE is going to Saudi Arabia, right? So the fact that there are plenty of people for years, even when the deal came in, was 5, 6, 7 years ago, they're like, I don't like this idea because of all the politics that is attached to Saudi Arabia. And WWE's like, nah, we're going to take this contract. We're double downing on the contract. And we're also now going to put, just a side note, Verizon, we have a problem because now I paid extra for Wi-Fi and it's messing up. So no shout out to Verizon. Y'all don't get Verizon because I'm about to call them after this. Anyways, they're going to Saudi Arabia. So the fact that they're going to Saudi Arabia, I can definitely see them doing the White House because they don't care. And when I say they don't care, we've had problems before with so many other different things, and we still continue, myself included, still continue to watch the product. So if they now have it on the White House lawn, they're still good. Like, there might be people who's like, I'm not going to watch that show, but you're going to watch the other shows. I don't know if Roman Reigns wanted to be there, but he was there.
I'm pretty sure he was paid to be there. I'm pretty sure a lot of athletes were paid to be there.
Don't forget that Linda McMahon is currently, if I'm still correct, still in the White House. So
Department of Miseducation.
So they could say no, but if it happens, you know, at the end of the current term or happens a year from now, I will not be surprised. We've had problems. We've been saying, and now it comes to the point when people talk about Saudi Arabia, everybody just rolls their eyes. So we've been saying things about, you know, decisions that WWE has made in the past, and they still go in and do it. So, and again, those tickets for WrestleMania and all the other tickets are expensive. So now if you're put this stuff at on the White House, and then you have the elites who are going to be paying $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever for that ticket, compared to, I won't put you in that box, compared to myself, who I might consider $100 ticket. You might consider a $500. I don't know, but it's like apples to oranges.
Don't be counting the mayor's chickens on live programming. Don't do that. By the way, we still never figured out a song for Dylan's super chat. How about Optimistic? You think that'll get flagged?
Royalty free?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I feel like Dylan can add it in post, and we can put it up on social media, and then I'll add it to the numerous.
Well, we gotta at least put it on the screen. Can we put it on the screen at least? I want to acknowledge Dylan.
Yeah, we could put it on the screen. Where's Dylan? Let me find his thing. Oh, hey Nick, I didn't see you.
I found it.
Oh yeah, you can post it. Shout out to Dylan. I didn't know why you didn't post it anyway. You're running the show. Shout out to Dylan. Yes, our super chats are open. You can ask the mayor what he's going to be doing for this weekend, what streets he's pounding, all the things. But yeah, I definitely think the White House is definitely a possibility.
Here at these WWT streets, we will not be covering that event if it does happen. We will stand in solidarity. The mayor has said that. Dylan did ask earlier for a SmackDown preview. Do you want to take it, or you want me to take it?
No, I think it'll be more entertaining if you take it.
WWE SmackDown on Freedom Day, June 19th, year of our Lord. We got some action tonight, y'all. Make sure you tap in with Honey for the Honey Night Watch Along. The mayor is usually in the comments there, and she puts on a great show. We're going to have a number one contenders match for the United States title with Ricky Saints, Pretty Ricky, what they call him, versus Carmelo Hayes. Make sure you check out that match to see who's going to face Trick Williams, who I don't believe has defended his title once yet. We got tag team action, tag team titles, the MFTs or whatever is remaining of the MFTs. Tala and Tama taking on Damian Priest and R-Truth for those tag team titles. That should be an entertaining match. I'm sure Solo will have some influence in there, whatever's going on with Royce Keys as well. We're going to have King and Queen of the Ring semifinals going on. Jey Uso taking on the Young OG. Should be a very dope match. Hopefully we see a straight up match, because I don't want any influence in this match. I feel like that's going to happen between Oba and whomever the winner is of this match. But Oba Femi is waiting. Next up, Women's Queen of the Ring semifinals. Liv Morgan taking on Charlotte Flair. Very interesting that we got all the way to the women's finals, and we're here with Liv. We got to remind ourselves that whoever wins this Queen of the Ring is going to take on Rhea Ripley. So got to think who's going to be the better story for Rhea. It's also rumored that Rhea might be taking some time off soon, or they're planning different stories around her for health-related reasons. We don't know. But we're going to see who's going to be the number one who's going to the Queen and King of the Ring finals tonight on SmackDown. And lastly, we got our World Championship match, the WWE title, with a special guest referee, the last real good guy, Sami Zayn, officiating Cody versus Gunther. And if you remember last time, this match is happening again. Gunther had the special stipulation because his foot was underneath the rope. The ref should have called a rope break. He didn't. Cody retained. So are we going to get more shenanigans, or are we going to get a new champion tonight? We will see. 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern, wherever you are on the other side of the world, whatever time that may be for you. But make sure you lock in with us here on WWT and Honey to catch all your SmackDown action. I don't hear you. I don't hear anything. Was that a quiet clap? There was no audio on that clap, but There we go. Now I hear the palms. I hear the palms being smacked. Thank you. Thank you.
Wow.
What else we got, y'all? What else? What it? Let's you want to pick the next topic? Do you want the chat to pick the next topic?
I really wanted to talk like we did talk about. Let's talk about AEW going to Tubi.
Okay. Is that really a thing?
Yeah, I think Courtney sent it in the chat. I think I added it here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That might be the blackest story we have today, guys. So AEW is going to Tubi. We already know Evolve is on Tubi, and it is something. So with AEW programming,
that is kind of. Yeah, I'm gonna cross-reference it because now that you said that seems like that should be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know how both brands could live there or the legitimacy of that. But if you're in the comments, yeah, it says watch AEW now available on Tubi. This is posted by AEW. Yeah. And it looks like it's going to be more of a video on demand type of thing where you can stream past Dynamites. Very interesting take there. Tubi is obviously a free platform for everybody to use. They have a lot of interesting programming on Tubi, but we do know that WWE Evolve is homed on Tubi. Do we see any conflict there with Tubi being there? Do you think that AEW will put more original programming there, or will it just be replays?
Yeah, it's so. Yeah, I don't know. This is gonna be kind of tricky. I feel like something's going to happen, whether AEW is moves evolved somewhere else. Yeah, this is, and obviously I know Tubi is separate from both of those, but I see that as like a huge. I don't want to say conflict of interest, but I feel like WWE would have a conflict of interest with that. But I might be wrong. Maybe there's a whole side deal, but something feels strange.
Feels interesting. I mean, it's a good move. It's a good move to have like old episodes. A lot of people like to watch previous years of Dynamite. Now you have a home to do so. So I think it's a good play for right now. I'm just curious if they would put more of a live show there at some point, or if it will sting to Ring of Honor as well.
Well, this is so now that I'm thinking about it, here's the thing. Why don't you just put Ring of Honor on there? Like, I feel like Tony Khan has been saying for years now that, you know, they were looking for a home for Ring of Honor. You still need to pay $9.99 to get on the website. And it's just kind of one of those things that Tubi would be the perfect place for Ring of Honor. And maybe that's where the conflict of interest is as far as levels of wrestling Evolve versus Ring of Honor. But I feel like you need to find a better, Tubi would have been a way better home for Ring of Honor, because now you can introduce different people to Ring of Honor, opposed to the paywall. That is very, and I'm sure that Tony Khan has a viable reason as to why we're paying $9.99 for Ring of Honor. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It really truly doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, more visibility for the brand overall, which I'm sure is a good thing. I wonder if well, no, obviously not any live shows, but I wonder how deep the library will go, video on demand. Like if it'll be like how Hulu is. Like, can I watch Dynamite from 2 days ago on Tubi right away? Or if it's just going to be more like dated backwards.
Here's a better thing that I feel like AEW might consider. You remember when WWE had the WWE app, like way before everybody else? Yeah. I think that AEW should just go ahead and get an app. meaning that with that app, you pay $19.99 a month and you get everything. You get your pay-per-views, you get your Ring of Honor, and you get AEW. I feel like I would personally pay that if I get all of that, because you have your pay-per-views for $60. Then you have to pay wherever platform to watch AEW. Then you have to pay the $9.99, and it's like you're honestly doing a disservice for the people at ROH One. And then also, if you really want people to see your pay-per-views, then the price point, although it's still low, but to pay that every single pay-per-view when you can literally go and get your NordVPN. You can literally go and pay, get your NordVPN, put in your WWE code, get 70% off, and you're just paying that one-time fee of Netflix, whatever it costs now, and you get to see SmackDown, you get to see Raw, you get to see NXT, and you get the pay-per-views all for one price. Like, it doesn't, it's very, I don't know. I don't know if they're secretly trying to like kill ROH. I don't know what it is, but it's a very weird scenario.
It is. It's a weird scenario. Speaking of weird scenarios, it seems like people are still bothering our yesteryear WWE talents and trying to figure out what they're doing with their life. Namely, Kayla Braxton not finally, I think she's done this multiple times, speaking out on why she left the company. And just to paraphrase, she is still being, I don't want to say harassed. Harass is a hard word. Still being questioned by the IWC about why she hasn't joined another wrestling promotion, why she hasn't essentially appeared on AEW television or anything like that. And she's saying, and paraphrasing, she thought it was pretty obvious when she left the company, it was to pursue other endeavors, whether that be acting, modeling, other podcasts, other lanes of entertainment types of media. And she just feels like that if people don't get it now, that they never will. And she also cited how mean people were to other talents like Samantha Irvin, who clapped back at the IWC. She thinks it's all very weird. Not the entire IWC, but a small chunk of it just have this very rigid perspective on what she should do with her career and her time.
Yeah, they think they own her because she was at WWE for a time. They felt some emotion to her, whether they hated her or loved her. It is kind of odd that you don't let people go. I think me and Keish talked about this on Wednesday, to have the ability and the luxury in a good way to quit a job and to pursue what you want is a very big thing. And let this woman just do what she wants to do. I think she also said in that article or somewhere else that it was explained that she ever wants to come back to WWE, the doors are open. So let her do what she like. Let her live her best life. It's I think with media and with celebrities and stuff like that, we oftentimes feel like we own them because we know so much about them, and that is not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. And I mean, if people really are fans of the individual, not the on-screen character, then you'll see the passion project she's in or the things she wants to participate in. I'm sure a lot of stuff in the horror genre, probably doing some acting roles or auditioning for those type of roles to really advance who she is in her career. There's probably a lot of other things outside of wrestling that she's had her eyes on, and she's of age, which is like, hey, I need to take these opportunities now. Wrestling will still be there after I'm done with these things. I think that's what people need to realize, is that while a lot of us might feel like wrestling is forever and that show will always still go on, these people have other goals in mind. And maybe she accomplished everything she needed to in that space, at least for the time being. That's a good comment, Special Nobody's. These parasocial relationships, yeah, that's exactly what they are. Parasocial relationships that people feel like they, like TK said, some level of entitlement to how people spend their time. Are we playing the clip?
No, I wasn't going to play that now, but yes, we can play that later.
Okay.
So just know it's in the chamber.
I think we got time for one more story. What would you like to tackle?
Damn, the phone is blowing up on this fine Juneteenth afternoon.
TK got dates, y'all. That's
Right.
I saw she was in a different location the other day on this show. That's whose house she was at. He's like, why are you not here today? Well, why you couldn't do your show from my house today? That's what's going
on. Maybe talk about the last story that I have in there. Friday night SmackDown scheduled.
Yeah, that one's weird. So if you guys knew, there's a Cincinnati show for SmackDown on September 4th that has just been abruptly canceled. It was at the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati. And then it says the event organizer had to cancel the show. So I don't know if that means the event organizer was WWE or if it's the Cincinnati building itself. Maybe they had to move the show off to somewhere else. But the date, I mean, that WWE hasn't announced a reason for the cancellation yet or a new location. But right now on the website, it still says that September 4th date is in Cincinnati. So maybe they have to go to another venue. Very odd thing to just have this date announced and just completely cancel it without any type of intel as to why. That's why I'm wondering, is it more on WWE side or is this like Cincinnati? Like, no, we have something else we got to do at this venue.
A double book by accident. Yeah, it could be that. I am interested in like the ticket sales of it all. If you read into the comments, people are quoting like the ticket sales were very good, which you can't really, I need to see the paperwork. I can't just take the comments as is, but yeah, it is interesting. I don't know. It's a very interesting wrestling week where to me, it seems less wrestling, more the business of wrestling. And somebody told me earlier this year that the wrestling that we know of is going to change dramatically in the next 5 years. And it'll be very interesting where this all kind of lands, as we can see a lot of it happening right now in real life.
I mean, we saw a glimpse of the changes when they tried to give us that that AI Soul Ruka promo in NXT with Zarya, and everybody just like shat on it because it's like, what are you doing? You have $1 billion company. Like, what are we doing using AI when you can easily create something more meaningful based on the history between two characters? So you can see a lot of like what in any sports organization, whenever you see people trying to like cut the margin and save money here, it's like, why? And to be honest with you, this is the only year I can quantify a why is because of all the shit you got to ship to Saudi Arabia next year. All the stuff you got to ship, the people you got to fly out, the guest list and things like that. You have to save a lot of money for next year's WrestleMania, and I get that.
Save a lot of money.
I get. I mean, they're still making profit hand over fist, but I don't know what the shipping costs and things are. If you guys haven't been familiar, let me just say this: if you guys aren't familiar with what's going on in this country, it's fucked up. Okay, gas high, food high, everything high, because we are a threat to the rest of humanity around the rest of the world. I don't know why. That's what it is. So I don't know how much people are charging us to do things in their spaces, but I imagine it's a high ticket right now. I imagine it's a very high ticket.
Come on. Saudi Arabia paid WWE for the last, that's contracts like 8 years. Do you honestly think if Saudi Arabia wanted WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia, WWE is going to pay to ship stuff over from their pocket when they can have it in Vegas again, or they can have it somewhere local? Come on now. There's no way. If a country it's just like the Olympics. If you want the Olympics in your country, they have to show that they have the venues. They essentially have to pay the Olympic Committee and show that they have all this stuff. There's no way that WWE is paying out of their pocket for this big expense when they can go, if they want to go internationally, you can go to Mexico, you can go to Canada. That is a low lift compared to going to Saudi Arabia. There's absolutely no way that WWE is paying for that check. There's no way. And or WWE is charging Saudi an exorbitant amount and they're pulling from that. Like, fun fact, if you look at any company that says they have free shipping, go and look at their prices before they had free shipping and go and look at their prices after. Guaranteed their prices went up because you are actually paying for the shipping. Like, there's no way that WWE is paying for that.
I'll rephrase it then. It is the last year of their terms with Saudi Arabia for these type of events. You don't think they want to put on the best, most memorable show possible to get a new contract with them?
Yes and no, meaning that this is what other company wait, let me rephrase that. WWE doesn't have competition. If there was another company that could provide the legends and all the things other than WWE, then I feel like WWE would play it like how you're playing it. But there's no competition. You wanted us. You reached out to us. You paid for this big contract. And who knows how much money they're making from their people and all the other surrounding countries that are coming to see that event. So no, they don't. I mean, no matter what, they tend to put on a good product anyway. So that's not a worrying thing. Do I think that they're going to re-up on their contract? Possibly. If WrestleMania goes according to plan and they have all the other countries coming and bring it, then why not? So I think WWE is winning either way. And if they lose the Saudi Arabia contract, it's not, they've been charging us up the wazoo for tickets anyway. They're going to just charge us some other way to make back the money. So yeah, that's the WWE is in a really good position right now.
All right, we'll see. I'm not going to pretend I know how much it costs to ship staging and stuff like that. In my mind, that ticket expensive right now because of one person. So I imagine that all those things tax.
That there's a thing that you're not considering, because we do ship, we do shipping from. I see all the contracts for another company that I work for. With that, who's to say that they don't build the stuff there? Nicholas has a good point. WWE has a whole museum there. So if they already know that WrestleMania is going to be there, instead of shipping everything, why don't you just build everything there?
You could,
because
if you trust the quality.
This is not their first show. This is not their first show in Saudi. So they've had a couple, and maybe that was the whole goal all along. You show by show, they're building and they're seeing what they need, and they already have most of the stuff there. So that's another thing, that the only thing that they probably have to ship is the talent.
Okay. That's why we do these conversations, so we can have different perspectives and viewpoints. So I am certainly enlightened.
No.
But it is 4:06 p.m. Pacific time. The mayor got shit to do.
Oh, do you want to play this Pound Town clip?
TK has a clip for you guys from Pound Town. As you see, you'll see how she was dressed. It was promiscuous, but you'll see that.
Wow.
Hollywood. All right.
It's breaking up. I was asking you that, said it's breaking up. You guys are gonna have to watch it on YouTube. I'm gonna drop it on YouTube in like 5 minutes. But really interesting clip from said. So definitely keep it locked to YouTube. Is there anything else said that you want to talk about? Why can't I hear you?
I was actually muted. I'm sorry. That was on me.
It was me. I'm like, why?
That was on me that time.
Man?
That was on me that time. My bad. I was explaining to the good people in my space by myself. I heard my own thoughts. We can't show you that clip. That's our hype video from Pound Town last week. We'll drop it across all socials so you can check that out. You'll see a lot of the interviews and the things we did last week in Pound Town Wrestling amongst a very lively crowd for their third event. And I was actually had some fun things I said about TK, about her internet being the problem for the clips themselves in blackety black fashion. But we're not going to blame TK today. We're going to blame Verizon. So she's going to fix that after the show.
Hell yeah, because I paid more money for this internet and Verizon's messing up. Verizon, you ain't it.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't it.
But lastly, like I told you guys, when the mayor hosts these very rare days, the mayor hosts because my show was taken from me. We're going to start late, but we're going to finish on time. You got the SmackDown watch along with Honey in just an hour. Make sure you tap in with her. And the mayor got things to do. He's a busy man. So TK, where can the good people find you on these streets?
You can't find me on the streets. I'll be working. You can find me everywhere at TK at Trinidad, across all social media platforms. Definitely check out my stories on TikTok if you want to hear some interesting takes on things. And I'll let you close out, Said, as far as where to find all the WWT stuff.
So make sure you chap in with, or make sure you lock in with everything WWT on these streets. We got our women's wrestling archive is going. Make sure you support that. Donate where you can. We got a lot of shows. We got WWT Live every week. We got the CEO Wednesdays with Courtney Rice. We got Honey Night SmackDowns with Honey, like we have coming up in an hour. We also are going to be we have the K-Fabers. Tap in with them on Thursday nights. A mayor show to be determined. Start date. It'll come, But I appreciate all the birthday love in the chat here. The donation from Dylan. We love you. We're going to make sure we add that in post as well to honor you with some very Juneteenth themed music that we can not get blocked for. Of course, the mayor. You can find me where I be. Sometimes I'll be here. Sometimes I'll be out somewhere else. But for today's sake only, I'll give you the social. Said is the answer on the gram and on TikTok. I'll be posting videos on TikTok. Make sure you guys go run it up. The Kurt Angle videos are doing very well right now. And on the Twitter streets, @saidsays, that's CEDD_SAYS. Don't pay attention to that comment by Courtney. That is a fabrication. We know what Wednesdays are. But until the next time that you might see the mayor on these streets, TK, you got anything else to add? Or I can close
that is it. Make sure you watch
Okay.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Let me say it. Make sure you watch Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet, and support all things the mayor this weekend. Ciao for now.
Thanks for joining WWT. Don't forget to like us on all social media platforms at WW Talk Pod. Like and subscribe on all video and audio platforms, like yesterday, my G. And check out our website at www.talkpod.com. Thanks for watching Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling network on the planet.